feel like there are some administrative tasks that AI would have to completely replace. For example, we have customer service.
Artificial intelligence can think like humans.
A bit of truth in it.
AI is going to take all human jobs. You must know how to code to work in tech. What are the skill sets that are non-negotiable?
I would say soft skills.
Really?
There are hard skills and there are soft skills. Hard skills are your technical skills. Soft skills are kind of like people skills, right? AI cannot exactly, replace those soft skills. So they are very non-negotiable.
What are the things that AI will definitely have an influence over, and what are the things that we need to focus on?
AI, right, is improving on what we already do. It's not replacing human beings, it's replacing tasks. So a person who can learn how to leverage AI would not be replaced.
With us today is the very beautiful and ever-glowing Chisom Mbama-Amabibi, and she's here to demystify AI and tech. She's an expert in this particular course, and she's here with us today, and we are so glad to have you. Thank you so much for coming, Chisom.
Thank you.
And lovely to meet you. Lovely to meet you. You look really beautiful.
Thank you. Great to meet you too.
Thank you. So we're going to go into a section that I love called Myth versus Truth. So I'm going to say a few things and you have 3 seconds to answer it.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah,
cool. All right. So there's going to be 5 questions. So it's very easy. So AI is going to take all human jobs. Myth. You must know how to code to work in tech. Myth. Artificial intelligence can think like humans.
Truth. A bit of truth in it.
They can think like humans.
There's like a level of
of intelligence. Okay. All right. You need expensive training schools to break into tech.
Myth.
You can successfully switch careers in your 30s, 40s, or later.
Definitely a truth.
Definitely a truth. Thanks for answering those questions. And we're moving on to who you are. You stand at the intersection of faith, healthcare, and data and technology. Literally like in the center. How did this journey begin for you? How did you find yourself on this particular lane and lanes, if I do say so?
Thank you for that question. So healthcare, data, AI, tech, AI, and faith. First of all, I'm a child of God, and that's the center of everything. I did study nursing in the university. I attended Unilag. I studied nursing. So I'm a registered nurse and a midwife. And I began to learn. I started learning data while I was in school because I had to do a project for my hospital finals.
Okay.
And it involved me like sharing questionnaires and then analyzing people's responses. And typically that part of the project, people will outsource it to a data analyst. But I felt like, why can't I do it myself?
Right.
And so I began to do it, and I began to make money out of it because my supervisor really liked it. And when somebody come and she doesn't like the analysis, she's just like, go to Chisom.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, I can make money for this thing. And it just became like a thing.
Nice.
So by the time I was done with school, I've had like some experience working in that and in data, and I just naturally went into the data parts, and
So you could say that you were called into it from the way you didn't even know that it was something that was your passion. You didn't even know this was your, should I say, gift?
So passion versus gift in the context of this, right? I wouldn't say I was exactly passionate about data or anything. It just felt very exciting, and I decided to go after it. And then in terms of like gifts, so I believe personally that some people are naturally gifted in certain disciplines, while some people are not gifted in it, but if they put in the work long enough, they can be at the same level with the set of people who are gifted in it. So I don't have a tech background. I come from a healthcare background, but I've done a lot of learnings and trainings over the years. And so, even if it wasn't exactly naturally my forte, that's what I do now, and I do it really well because I've learned over the years. So yeah.
That's great. And I'm glad that you were able to tell us your background, because you were able to show how you were able to switch from one lane to another. So for someone who is intentionally trying to transition their careers right now, because that's one of the things that you actually do, you train people on how to transition, especially into this particular area or this field. What are the things you would tell the person listening to right now who is considering switching their lanes into data or tech?
Okay.
Or AI?
Okay. So you can be more intentional about it. When I did it, I wasn't exactly intentional. I still felt like I was going to practice as a nurse, but let me make money as much as I can from this thing. So data, AI, tech, the umbrella is technology, right? Technology careers. And data is one part of it. There's software engineering, there's all of that. And then AI is not like a standalone career. It's something that you infuse into everything. So for somebody who's trying to transition into it, the first part of it, I would typically tell people is you need to know what you want to do. And how do you know what you want to do? Don't just say, oh, cybersecurity, because everybody's in cybersecurity. What are you naturally good at? For example, there's project management in tech. Yeah, if you're a person who is great at managing people, you just know how to like get things done, put people together, you would be great with project management. If you're a person who is naturally inquisitive, you're saying things that people are not saying, you're just naturally discerning, like, I think that person is a great person. When it comes to data, right, you need that level of overthinking to be able to bring out insights. So you thrive in that. So basically, be able to like go in that natural path. And how will you be able to do that? Just research. Go on YouTube and check for a day in the life of a data analyst, a day in the life of a cybersecurity analyst, see what they do and see if it's something you can do. So the second part of it is having discovered what you want to do. Yeah, you now want to begin to learn, because let's say you want to work as a data analyst, there are a set of skills that you need to learn how to use, tools you need to learn how to use, a set of skills that you need to gain. So that's where learning and training come. There are a lot of courses, you can take and all. Now I want to add something, that when you start transitioning into a new career and you feel like you're allowed to actually check something else, right? There's typically, when you transition, there's typically that period where you're trying to decide, should it be software engineering, should it be data analysis, should it be this, and it's okay. And then just go towards where you're naturally more in tune to. So
you're giving yourself the grace to switch if it's not working.
Definitely. By all means.
And in the workplace, one of the things that we talked about is that the spiritual advantage in the workplace. Now, how important, what exactly does that look like in day-to-day workplace and in a professional environment? The advantages of having that as well. And if you have any examples.
Yeah, definitely. When I said it, I said that God is the center of everything.
Yes.
Yeah. As believers, we have what I like to call supernatural advantage. And it can be at work, not just for spiritual things, but for other things. By the way, your work is not secular. Your work is also spiritual, because you're doing it as unto God. So practically, the Holy Spirit can give you insights on what to do. I remember very vividly, or sometime last year, I was working on this project at work, and we're trying to figure out, a number was not correct, and we're trying to figure out why it wasn't correct, because the model was correct, but the final number was not correct. And that was my task. And I remember just thinking about it, okay, I found what was not correct, but how do I extract it? Well, just something. And I just remember just laying on my bed and praying language of the Holy Spirit, and I had a function that I didn't think about. And immediately that solved the problem. So a lot of times, right, speaking in tongues, for example, is not just for you to edify yourself. You can speak in tongues, and when you pray, there are certain things that float to the surface of your mind. That's the word of the Lord to you. That's something. So you can actually stay in the place of prayer and get insights concerning anything. Think about Daniel. He was a government official in his day. Yeah. And at work, they needed to figure something out. He told them, give me time to pray. And when he went to the place of prayer, he got that insight. So in the same way, insight, understanding the help of God. It was this week, I had a demo for one of the stakeholders. I was going to show them something, and for some reason I just felt very unprepared. I'd done the work, but there was just this level of and I remember just saying, God help me, because I'd read a book recently. I was on a flight and I read a book about the ministry of angels and Dancing with Angels by Kevin Basconi, something like that. And he had said something that one of the ways that you can activate the help of angels is to ask for help. When you get to that point where you're like, God help me, you activate the ministry of angels. I remembered that, and I just immediately said, God help me. So cut a long story short, after that demo, they had sent a message to say they were very impressed. everything went well. And I'm like, the way I was feeling,
Are you
and
sure?
this
Like,
feedback,
yeah,
like,
you
it's
know
not
it's not
really,
you.
but I
Yeah,
knew
it's
that
like-
it was the help of God.
Nice.
So definitely, God really, like, incorporating him into work, it helps a lot.
So you use the ministry of angels to it's to your advantage, and it's good.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's also glorify God at the end of the day, so it's good. Let's move on to using to skill sets and how to actually use those skill sets to advance your career. What skill sets do you think are very important? As much as we say, okay, everybody wants to go into AI, everyone wants to go into data, everyone wants to go into tech. What are the skill sets that are non-negotiables?
Okay, and this may be unconventional, but I would say soft skills.
Really?
There are hard skills and there are soft skills. Hard skills are your technical skills. Oh, I can use Excel. I can write SQL. I can write Python codes and all those things. Those are hard skills. Soft skills are kind of like people skills, right? Are you reliable, right? If they say, oh, get this thing done by such a time, are they sure that you will do it by that time? Are you how good is your communication? We are in a remote age, right? You want to communicate. There's something we call over communicating. Oh, I'm working on this thing, I'm not done yet, but so far these are the 5 things I've done. You can check it out here. This will be done by 5:15 or something. How can you communicate? Can you lead people? Right? Leadership is a skill. Being able to get people to do something or work towards a goal, that's a skill you need to learn. Also learning how to speak very well. If you work in tech or almost anywhere, you have to actually demo things, speak to people. There is a certain way that you can speak that, it goes, a very quick story. When I was at my former company, they were interviewing. So I was interviewing people to join the company. And we're on this panel. So typically they have this stage of the interview where you've applied, they've given you a technical assessment, and then there's now a panel interview. This guy did so great in his technical interview. So he naturally moved to the panel interview. I'm on the panel, and despite how technically great he was, he just wasn't communicating well. He wouldn't speak up, he wouldn't it was just somehow, and he didn't move to the next stage. And I remember looking at his technical assessment, I'm like, this guy is good. But in this role, you might need to speak with stakeholders. We don't want somebody that's, soft skills are things that AI cannot exactly, replace those soft skills. So they are very non-negotiable.
Wow. So they are non-negotiables, and in order for you to be an asset in whatever industry you're in, they're non-negotiables, and those are the soft skills that you must have.
Soft skills.
Yeah, and yes, you said AI cannot take over. AI cannot take the place of, the soft skills. But people talk about AI takeover, AI takeover. AI is going to take jobs in the next 10 years. You even see it wherever you're going, scrolling. In the next 7 years, you don't have knowledge of AI, blah, blah, blah. You'll be left out, So what is true, what is exaggerated? What are the things that, yes, we know AI will definitely have an influence over, and what are the things that we need to focus on? So that as humans, we know what we're doing and we can actually work towards ensuring that we are assets in our companies.
Definitely. I would say AI taking over people's job is not a complete myth. There is an aspect to it, right? So think about when we started, when, let's say, the whole corporate thing started, we had typewriters who needed to literally type, right? Move from typewriters to, maybe people typing now on computers, and then we moved to people maybe just recording the call, getting the transcripts and all of those things, right? So now what's happening is that AI, right, is improving on what we already do. It's not replacing human beings, it's replacing tasks, right? The tasks that human beings do. So a person who can learn how to leverage AI would not be replaced, basically. So even for data analysis, for example, now Claude can give you insights from your data without a data analyst coming to draw a graph and a chart and all. But there's a setup you need to do for that to happen. So if, for example, if I'm a data analyst, I'm an analytics engineer, I'm not a data analyst. If I'm a data analyst and I know how to leverage Claude to give me insights, I don't think my job will go, because what it will help me to do is that, okay, they're like, oh, we need this insight. I'll be able to get it faster. Sure. Yeah, I'll be able to think about things that I typically will not think about on my own. So I'm learning how to incorporate AI into what I already do, right? So basically, that's a way to sort of stay ahead. However, I feel like there are some administrative tasks that AI would have to completely, replace. For example, we have customer service. if you call a bank, for example, now, they'll try to like make sure, see if they can solve it before you speak to a real human being.
Speak, press 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Press 2, press
That's
3.
AI. That's AI to a large extent. And then when you now really need to, there'll be a human being.
Somebody
But with the way it's going, at some point,
After 2 minutes on the phone, you know what? Just press the one. Press one. Help me.
So, yeah. So learning how to leverage AI in what you already do would keep you ahead.
Oh, that's well, using AI to your advantage is basically what we're saying in a nutshell. But how does someone build staying power in their career, in a world where careers are going obsolete? Not necessarily with AI, but you also speak to people who are trying to build themselves professionally. Aside from the trainings, what are the things that they can actually do in order to ensure that their professional life is it's gaining momentum, basically. Okay. It's not obsolete, it's not stagnant.
Okay. So first thing is that I typically tell people to have a specific goal for your career part-time.
Okay.
Yeah, have a goal part-time or multiple goals they are working towards, right? First of all, in fact, have a mentor. And when I mean mentor, you don't have to sit with the person. The person doesn't even have to know you. There can be somebody in your field that you feel like this person has attained the highest possible level, right? What have they done so far? Oh, you see their LinkedIn post. I just want to, say that I've started a master's. I just want to say that I took this course and all those things. You almost can see their path. So you can sort of like mirror it. Have something you're looking up to, then have a goal part-time based on research. For example, I work as an analytics engineer and I'm currently like doing some learnings and trainings to allow me niche more into RevOps, into the revenue part of things, because I have seen that almost, because I work in consulting, and almost every client I have serviced, they are very interested in their numbers, their MRR, their customer acquisition cost, all of those things. So I see that it is needed, and I'm like, you know what? I want to work on personally a portfolio project, a personal one, not because of anyone, that helps me to say that, oh, I'm a RevOps analytics engineer, right? So in that way, I'm working towards something, I'm growing. So have a goal that moves you forward in whatever career you are. Oh, even if, let's say you're a tailor, right? And you don't know how to make corsets, have a goal for these next 2 months that I want to learn how to make corsets. Just something, be taking a step forward based off what you can see and based off, the parts of you that you need to improve. Yeah.
And funny enough, the next question that we're discussing was being a double-handed warrior. And as you're setting your goals for the professional and, personal, we also discussed about ensuring that you set goals for your spiritual.
Definitely.
For your spiritual life as well.
Yeah.
So in your data, so this question, I was going to ask you like how realistic, but because of time and as you're growing, your time is going to be, the more things you have to do in order to grow. How exactly is someone going to set their time and prioritize their goals so that at the end of the year they will be able to say, yes, they ticked it?
That's a very good one.
All the boxes are ticked.
So you rightly said that there are different aspects of life, right? Yeah. There are personally 6 pillars I think about life for. There is the God one, which is spiritual. There is family, i.e. relationships, all of those things. There is financial. There's the financial part of things. There's the career part of this. There's friendship. And I think the last one is self-development. I can't remember. I think I'm mixing something up. So anyway, there are those areas of life. You come in and you set goals in those areas. Now, you have to be realistic and break down your goals into several steps. We have 12 months in a year. What are you focusing on in the month of March based off the goals you have set in all these areas, right? Because you need to focus on one thing per time. Yeah, and then you also need to prioritize. Look at your life, what's happening. Oh, you don't have a job, income is not coming in. Let your financial goal or your career goal be at the top, for that season. Now, spiritual goals are something that they are not negotiable in every season of life. I always tell my husband that I feel like if I've not prayed, like something is wrong, like I'm not aligned.
Right.
So as things change in life, I mean, when I was in university, I schooled at university, I was driving in. I remember those days that would be a chapel, class, church,
exam, church. After exam, you go to church, you pray for the exam, and then you go back to the exam.
That was just it. But now, in this season of life, things look very different.
Yeah.
But a person needs to be very intentional to find ways to incorporate God into it. A very practical way can be, in this season of life, for example, I need to wake up as early as 6 a.m. so that I can pray. I can have personal time to pray and then also pray with my family, all those things. So it is very important. So that changes a bit, right? I need to wake up early, you know, there are time blocks for me where I know that, okay, this is time to pray. There are seasons where, okay, you know, find somebody, you're part of a community, but just make sure whatever I take, sometimes even on the go. I was driving down here and I was worshiping because I haven't really had enough time today to like stay as I wanted to be. You have to intentionally incorporate God into your day-to-day life. As seasons change, find the strategy for the season that has changed. What works, what's realistic for you in this season of your life, and make sure that as much as possible you are incorporating God. You're praying, you're staying in the Word of God, you're being part of, you know, the fellowship of believers. There was a season of my life that was really busy, and I told myself that I must never miss Sunday service. If after everything there's work night, and once it's Sunday like this, I must be in church. Like, I needed to make that very important. So as much as possible, just find the strategy for your season.
Find the strategy for your season. That's a good takeaway. But aside from that, what's the one key takeaway you give someone who is trying to, let's even say you're an analytics engineer now, and someone is trying to transition into analytical engineering. Wow, that's a tongue engineering. Analytics engineering. And the person is trying to transition into that. What's the one takeaway you give them right now that they can take that step this week as they're going into the week?
For a person specifically for analytics engineering.
Let's niche it down.
Okay, so first of all, analytics engineering is on the spectrum of data, right? So there are data engineers, you know, they bring the data from the different places through the pipeline into a data warehouse. Analytics engineers now model the data. Just think of it as cleaning of data, but you're using SQL to incorporate business context, make the data look like the final product, which the data analyst now visualizes, right? So to become an analytics engineer, you have to be good with modeling, and that means you need to understand like principles of shaping data to fit, you know, the final product you want. You need to be good with SQL. There are also certain transformation tools. A very popular one is DBT. So if you want to start this week, I would say start from research. You know, just read who is an analytics engineer. What do I need to know as an analytics engineer? What can I learn? You know, start from research. Don't just go blindly into something. Day in the life of an analytics engineer. Is this something you want to do or you can do? Do your research, like take a week plus, you know, go on LinkedIn, check people who are doing it. What kind of work do they do? Now, after you've done that and you really want to do that, then you now begin to learn. What are the skills? Okay, what course can I learn to teach me SQL? What course can I take to teach me SQL? Oh, I need to understand modeling principles. What book can I read? All of those things. What project can I work on? Because it's not just learning, you must be working on something.
Sure.
Yeah. What project can I work on? And then when you're doing that, you're working towards becoming that. And it applies to literally any area, even if it's not analytics engineering, any field entirely. Do your research. Be able to surface what you need to learn to become that thing, then break your learning down into a roadmap. Okay, I have 3 months to do this. For the first 2 weeks, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to work on this, all of that, and then before you know, you'll be there.
So it's just a general structure for anyone who is trying to transition into a new career, no matter what the career is.
Yeah.
And I'd like to ask this question, like, what does success look like or mean to you, Chisom?
Success for me, and I'm not trying to sound spiritual, success for me is that God is pleased with what I've done. God looks on me and he's pleased with me. I'm pleasing to the Father. So if it's that I did my work excellently and therefore the glory went to God, that's success for me. If it's that, you know, I showed up for my family, right? They had food to eat. Everybody was well fed, well dressed. You know, that's a successful day, that's a successful week because God is pleased because I'm fulfilling purpose in that moment. So for me, the audience is one, is God. Beyond what anybody says or anybody thinks, as long as I know that I'm pleasing to God, that's what success means for me. I have done something that is pleasing to God. I have done my best in something, and this best gives glory to God. Therefore, it's pleasing to God. That's success for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Chisom. Thanks for coming. We are glad to have you. We'd definitely love to have you again. Because I think we should niche down this data, into different spheres so that we can now say, okay, this is your master class. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Masterclass coming soon. Masterclass coming soon with Chisom Mbama. Thanks so much for joining us today. Until next time, don't stop walking on your own lane. Bye for now.